Hi, Panda here, and it's that time of year where we're going to be talking about our top 10 games we finished in 2021. Now, I know it's been a difficult year for everyone, but there have been some great games. And here at Arctic Panda Popz, we like to play games old and new. So this top 10 list is going to be a mixture of new games and some retro games. So it's a little bit different from the usual top 10. So we could have like really old games in here, brand new games that came out on Game Pass. I've tried to put them roughly in an order of like preference, but trust me, when I got to like the top 5, even the top 7 maybe, I was like really struggling to figure out what order I want to put them in. So it kind of depends what mood I'm feeling, which one I think is better than the other, and they're very different styles of games. So don't think, oh, number 1 means it's definitely better than number 2. Do you mean? This is just overall top 10 games I enjoyed the most that I finished. There will be a separate video where we have some honorable mentions about some games that we didn't get a chance to finish, or games that are always ongoing that you can never finish. So without wasting any more time, here we go. Number 10, The Artful Escape. Now, The Artful Escape is a 2D, slightly trippy platform game with some rhythm aspects. So our main character, relative, is like this famous folklore legend, and before he has to perform a concert, he goes to this cosmic world because, you know what, he wants to become his own musical legend and doesn't want to live up to this folk legend that everyone seems to think he's just going to inherit. So it's very interesting, bizarre characters, bizarre aliens, bizarre worlds. I said bizarre a lot because it is very bizarre, this game, and very trippy. Now, it's very smooth, the platforming, there's some excellent music. It's nothing too taxing or challenging, which I quite like. And the boss fights are these interesting aliens that have different eyes or different parts, and you can clearly see which colour button you have to press to the rhythm. Nothing too difficult here. A cool, interesting story, some nice environments. It's a little bit strange, and sometimes you're not quite 100% sure what's going on, or it's a bit weird, but I think that works well in its favour. I really just enjoy this one mainly for the visual and audio. So if you like some trippy effects and some awesome electric guitar rock music, then I'd definitely check this out. Number 9, Yoshi's Woolly World. Now, the Yoshi games have varied for me this year, but Yoshi's Woolly World is an exceptional game. Its art style still holds up well today. It looks beautiful, it plays really well, and it's just a nice, easygoing game with maybe only a few tricky levels, usually when it's not sticking to the left or right thing, but overall really good. And we have Poochie as well. So yeah, it's got a nice woolly yarn look to it, and yeah, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Is a great Wii U game. At number 8, Super Mario 3D World. Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U still holds up really well considering it has a new Switch remake. This partially 3D but not fully open world levels are enjoyable. They range in some beautiful locations. The music is fantastic. You can play up to 4 players. And overall, it just plays really well. It's a great time. You just getting along. Nothing too complicated or taxing until you reach the bonus worlds, but no spoilers, but they just get very difficult there. But you don't need to do those. And overall, you're going to have a good time. It's Super Mario 3D World. It's a good time. Number 7, Haven. Now, things get a little bit more serious here, but still beautiful. The art style in this game looks amazing. So you play as 2 characters that have escaped their horrible homeworld. I won't tell much more about the story because you kind of get drip fed this little bit of information between what happened and about these 2 characters. But these 2 characters are amazing. They have a great relationship. They've got lots of banter, a lot of chat in between, and you kind of learn a little bit more about them. They're kind of developing their own relationship as these events are happening. And basically, you just explore this world that's been broken into sections. You flow, you do this awesome, you're gliding around. It's really cool, it's hard to explain. And you kind of got this turn-based classic Final Fantasy combat but mixed in with like real time. So there's no like waiting, taking turns. You're literally just choosing attacks Nothing too complicated here. The combat can be a little bit confusing at first, but I'd recommend explore the world. There's some hidden gems, and overall just looks really beautiful, and it plays really well, and it was a big surprise, so I really enjoyed this, and I'd highly recommend playing it in co-op as well, because that was a good time. At number 6, talking of enjoyable co-op games, we've got Fogs. Now, who wouldn't love to play as a double-headed dog? It's one character with 2 heads, but in 2-player, you both play a separate head, so trying to control one character by 2 people is unusual. There's some fantastic puzzles here, some interesting and bizarre worlds, and I really would highly recommend it. Like, I can't say much more about it because it's beautiful. You can probably see from the gameplay what sort of thing you get up to, but yeah, this game is just an enjoyable laugh. You never know what you're going to come across. Some awesome NPC characters about, and yeah, overall a really good time, and I'd highly recommend it. Number 5, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, what can I say? This is a breathtaking open world game like no other. And also, as an interesting little fact, is the only Legend of Zelda game that I've ever finished. I've come very close to finishing Wind Waker, and I plan to finish that in the next month or 2, but Breath of the Wild is the first one I finished. Now, there's something special about Breath of the Wild. When you first play it, you're like, I don't know about this, it seems a bit confusing, what am I doing? But it's soon you realise, like, oh, I'm just here to explore. There's no like punishment as such. You explore. If you shouldn't be somewhere, it's obvious, like, oh, it's too cold here or something. But you just kind of like wander about, and then when you discover your first tower and you climb to the top of the tower, you kind of look around and mark things that look interesting too. It's not like the Assassin's Creed game. It's like, here's the map full of icons. We've just filled it. Just run to different icons, and it kind of feels blur when you play Assassin's Creed sometimes. Now, I've enjoyed an Assassin's Creed game, but Breath of the Wild is such a fresh take on the open world aspect. You just look around and like, yeah, I want to go over there. You go over there, you're like, oh, here's some horses. I'll try and tame a horse. I can ride the horse about. And you kind of do it in any order you want. You're like, you've got certain big dungeons that need doing, and I won't go into that much. But you kind of just go around doing these small shrines, these like small dungeons where you can upgrade your health. And yeah, you just kind of decide, oh yeah, I'm going to go over there. And you kind of unravel the story that way. NPCs might talk about certain places, then you go and explore. And it just flows really nicely, this whole like exploring randomly. And you could probably do it in a different order. The way I played it might be a completely different way to you play it. And there's probably loads more secrets that I've not found yet. And this game has definitely made me want to buy the expansion pack as well. So I look forward to checking that out. Number 4. Now, when I was given new Pokemon Snap for a birthday, I was very happy. This is a game I've been waiting a long time. Now, I'm old enough to know I was around when the original Pokemon Snap came out on the N64, and I actually got it at the time as well. So I remember playing that when it was brand new, and absolutely loved that game. Like, if I still had a CRT TV, I would plug my N64 in now and play Pokemon Snap. So it's amazing. So having a new one is just breathtaking. They've added so much more to this, but haven't spoiled the feeling of what it was like for new Pokemon Snap. And there's loads more Pokemon than there were back in the 90s, so it's amazing. So there's not much more else to say. It's just such a good game. It's interesting that you could have a game about photography that doesn't involve combat or any of the other like cliches that people think about video games. This is fresh as the day it came out, even after like, what has it been, over 20 years now, and it still feels fresh. So yes, definitely check out new Pokemon Snap. Number 3. Now, this is definitely a difficult game to get through. You have to be in the right mindset, but tell me why. It is a fantastic story type game. Now, I love the Life is Strange series, but this dealt with things really well. There's a trans man character in it, and it just deals with that situation, but does it really well. Doesn't like go on about like trying to make it obvious something. It fits in, like it makes it feel natural and not forced or anything, and I really appreciate that. And I think they dealt with all the situations and the difficulties that it is in the difficulties that you have in life. So I appreciate the situation the brother and sister are in, the difficulties that this trans man is experiencing because they go back to the old place, and like some people are more accepting and some people are not. And I think this is quite a good eye-opener for some people as well to realize, you know what, some people go through a lot, and maybe people should start being nicer to each other. So this is really a quite a heart-wrenching story. So make sure you're in a good mood and ready to take on something a little bit heavy. But trust me now, tell me why it's definitely worth your time. Number 2. Oh, when I was just talking about Pokemon Snap, same applies to this. Final Fantasy VII Remake. It is the remake that I've been dreaming from since I played Final Fantasy originally on the PlayStation 1. This remake is breathtaking. The amount of detail they put in the environment, the characters. This is definitely one of the coolest environments, and the remake only covers the first tiny bit of the game as well, so we're looking forward to the second part of this remake. But it is amazing. The combat is amazing, and all the changes are made are for the good. This is how like you picture the game should be in your head, and it's something beautiful and something worth checking out. And number 1, another game that I waited ages for a proper full console sequel. Luigi's Mansion 3. I absolutely loved Luigi's Mansion on the original GameCube, and I really enjoyed number 2 on the 3DS. But I don't really play portable games as much, and experiencing it on a small screen isn't quite the same as experiencing it on the big TV. But the amount of details and extra stuff they've put in this game is unbelievable. Luigi is so good, even though he doesn't say much, he's such a good character to have. And the whole mansion, the hotel, it's a hotel this time, it's amazing. Each floor you travel to is really different, the puzzles are great, and I think I rarely got stuck in this game. I think it just plays really well, but there's some good challenge there, and there's some good multiplayer modes in there as well, but I'm really focusing on the single player here. And I think it's definitely worth checking out. And it's definitely the best game I played of 2021. So thank you very much for joining me on our top 10 games we finished in 2021. And I managed to say the right year all the way through, so that is good. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And you can help support us on Patreon and Ko-fi as well. So thank you very much to all our patrons. And I hope you enjoy our new season of content this year in 2022. And we'll see you next time. Bye!